Osio Taishu, Shadana Lai. I'm Jay Winter Nightwolf, the originator and host of the American Indians Truths. I'm here today with an old friend and brother, Minister Louis Farrakhan from the Nation of Islam. Because of all the thousands of people that I've met over my years, conversations with people that look like African American people. And when you really get down to the nit and the grit of it and ask them, what's your ancestry? Oh, my grandma was a Cherokee, or my great-great-grandfather was, I think he was a Seminole. And because of the stolen heritage of American Indians with black blood and black people with Indian blood, I felt that it was time to bring about a new organization that we call NCBAI, the National Congress of Black American People, Indians. And when I made the announcement, in 6 months, there were carloads of people from California, Oklahoma, Nebraska, people that came out of the Wampanoag people in Massachusetts, people from busloads of people from Atlanta. They all converged upon Washington, D.C. at this little church that only seat maybe 2,000 people. The aisles were packed. They were outside all around the block. And I asked them, why did you come? Because I had to see my family. And I said, what family? I'm black and I'm Indian. And I have never been to anything where black Indians or Indians with black blood came together under one roof. This was the first time in the history of this republic that black folks with Indian blood and Indian folks with black blood were able to come together as a people and not feel ridiculed, marginalized, or subjugated because they stood up and told the world who they are.
10/10/15. That's a date that will go down in history. I would like to see all the tribes, those that know that their roots are intertwined, and those that don't. You have a legitimate grievance to put before the United States government. We have a legitimate grievance to put before the United States government. All other matters of justice are small in comparison to the red and the black. I was up in Pine Ridge with Russell Means at the Sundance.
One of my dearest friends.
I took my wife and my son. My son knew how to go in the wilderness and build a tent where they stayed. I watched my wife. They put a blanket over her arm because she has Indian roots. Because she has Indian roots. Because she has Indian roots. And they danced. My wife had never danced. But there she was with the women
in the circle
of the Sioux Oglala Nation. And I watched my wife reach down in her roots, and you could not tell that she was not one of the Oglala Sioux women as she danced with them. The enemy has kept us apart. And we must break down these barriers, because the same spirit that I saw when Juanetta Lone Wolf invited me to the Sundance in the Four Corners, where the Navajo and the Hopi are, and the government was coming to take their land, and the Muslims went with me, my wife, my children. We went there to stand with the Navajo and the Hopi, not knowing whether we will have to fight to maintain that land. God blessed us. We didn't have to fight, but we went there to be with our brothers and sisters in a time of trouble.
If you were to walk into any mosque in America and you just laid your hands on the first person or the third person or the fifth person that you see, you realize that you're laying your hands on a Native American?
I believe
There were only 8% of the slaves that came to America. So how is it that there are so many more people that they claim are black or African American? I think they got the numbers wrong, because a lot of Native Americans are the ones that they're counting as black folks too.